What's going on, guys? Mikkel here, and today I really wanted to display to you guys how Ripple and XRP are going to be directly integrated into the future financial system. There's a ton of banks all over the world already utilizing Ripple, and I think we have proof right here that the Federal Reserve will also be utilizing Ripple. I think I found some documents that make this fairly obvious, and I'm really excited to show you guys this. I'm also going to get into some XRP technical analysis at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around for that. If you guys are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe down below. It really helps me out so much and will help this channel grow in the future. So thanks for that, and let's jump right into this video. So to start this video, I really wanted to go over how integrated Ripple and XRP are going to be in the future financial system, specifically the Federal Reserve in this video. So recently, or in the past, the Federal Reserve has essentially been using an extremely outdated messaging system in order to send payments all over the world. In 2015, the Federal Reserve issued Strategies for Improving the U.S. Payment System, a multifaceted plan to enhance the speed, safety, and efficiency of the U.S. payment system. In 2017, the industry asked the Federal Reserve to develop a 24/7, 365 settlement service for faster payments. So what this is saying the payment system that the Federal Reserve uses and many other central banks and banks all around the world is extremely outdated. In the day and age where you can send information in the snap of the fingers, it really doesn't make sense that you have to wait 2 days for a payment to get through. The problem with this is most of the financial system was built before the advent of the internet, and therefore it does not use the internet as the foundational role for processing the payments. It uses other systems and overlays the internet on top, almost as in a reverse order as the information flows on the internet today. What the Federal Reserve is trying to do here is update its financial system to better integrate the internet and create an internet of value where value or money can flow as easily as information does today. What the Federal Reserve has essentially coded this new standard that they're trying to create is ISO 20022, and just recently they actually announced that they are going to be moving the implementation of ISO 2002 up faster to January 4th, 2022. That's a lot of twos and zeros, so sorry if I messed that up a couple times, but I think you guys get the point. One of the most fascinating things about this is that when you look at the organizations currently helping the Fed to achieve this, that they also kind of dubbed their Fednow pilot program, you see a few extremely obvious ties back to Ripple. First, I want to point out that there aren't a lot of tech companies actually on this list, and it really gives even more validity to how integrated Ripple is in the ones that are shown. So if we look through here, we mostly see banks, still mostly banks, and in this entire first list, we see banks and credit unions. Really, these are just companies that are likely just going to be integrated into the system and probably aren't going to have a massive effect on the technological updates that are going to be happening to the system itself. If we keep going, then the first very interesting person we see on this list is actually Finastra, because Finastra is a technology company that provides banking APIs but are actually integrated with Ripple in 2019. If we keep scrolling, then we actually see even more ties to Ripple. And if we keep going through here, Finsley's an electronic bank, more banks and credit unions. We keep scrolling, we see more banks. Pretty much every massive bank you could really ever think of. Keep going, and then we run into Temenos. Temenos is once again a banking API, so we can think of that as more of a technology company, but once again they are integrated with Ripple, and that happened 5 years ago. So these guys, Temenos, are heavily involved with Ripple. So the first two technology partners we see on the Fednow list are actually integrated with Ripple. And the last company, another technology company we see on here, Volante, is also integrated with Ripple, and Volante actually describes how I believe a lot of these banking APIs are using Ripple in their system. Essentially, these banking APIs are a layer above what Ripple is. Ripple is really trying to be the plumbing or the infrastructure to the next generation financial system, and Volante directly describes this on their Volante Pay Ripple processor module. They show right here that Volante is essentially just a payment API that is handling the transactions, but then is essentially directly puts those right through Ripple, because that's going to be the system that allows the Federal Reserve to have a, as they say, a faster, safer, and more efficient system that can be up 24/7, 365. And the reason Ripple is able to do this is because they're fundamentally different than every other company out there, and that's because they utilize the XRPL blockchain to handle all of their transactions. This is extremely unique, and there's so many more benefits to using the XRPL than any other centralized system. If we look right here, this is actually a Volante, I got a spokesperson who directly links the Fednow platform to ISO 2002 payment standard.
You're going to need in a Fednow solution. Your solution needs to speak the language ISO 20022 fluently, because that's exactly how Fednow is built.
So he just says right there, Fednow is directly developed around ISO 20022. And if we look at the ISO 20022 ecosystem, we see that Ripple and Interledger XRP are directly integrated into the ISO 20022 ecosystem, alongside XLM, XDC, Algorand, Circle USDC, Consensus, which is Ethereum, and likely many more that will soon be integrated into this list. This list is essentially just giving a general idea of what the future financial system will look like, but I think it's important to notice that XRP is directly built into there. So, to do a quick recap, the biggest payment APIs working with the Federal Reserve Fednow program, almost all three of them all have integrated Ripple. Why are they integrating Ripple? They're integrating Ripple because these payment APIs aren't fundamentally changing their business. They've already built their entire software suite, and they really just don't have the capabilities to do what Ripple does. But the good thing about Ripple is Ripple's not trying to disrupt these guys. They're looking to help them. What Ripple's allowing them to do is build their payment APIs on top of Ripple, and then Ripple builds its technology on top of the XRPL. This allows these payment APIs to essentially leverage the power of Ripple and XRP, and ultimately to increase the fluidity of the future financial system. What Ripple is acting as the plumbing and the new infrastructure that will build all of this up. Ripple and XRP are going to be hidden in the background, but really be the most important infrastructure of this entire system. And I think that's extremely important to point out, because the ties directly come back to Ripple and XRP every single time, although it seems like they all go out of their way not to mention them specifically. It's funny that the Federal Reserve Faster Payment Task Force directly uses almost every technology partner that's already integrated in Ripple, but doesn't directly mention Ripple. I don't know what the exact reason for that is, but I think it's very important to point out. I also want to point out that national banks around the world, such as the biggest bank in Qatar and also the largest bank of Egypt, have already joined RippleNet, along with multiple of the largest banks in the entire world. What is currently happening is Ripple is creating a new standard for a future financial system, and legacy companies like payment APIs and banks are being forced to adopt it. They simply don't have the technology to compete with Ripple and XRP, but the good thing that Ripple and XRP are doing is they're not looking to disrupt these players. They're looking to allow them to leverage their solutions to help bring them into the new age financial system. This is really what has allowed Ripple to allow all boats to float, and is really going to allow and accelerate the advent of blockchain technology, and allow the Federal Reserve and every other banking system to essentially meet their new goal of creating a faster, safer, and more efficient financial system. There's going to be other players and crypto companies and technology companies that don't use crypto all involved in this, but it's important to see that Ripple is going to be a fundamental and critical player in this, and I have a feeling that it's going to drastically impact the price of the XRP token. So guys, to finish up this update, I want to do a quick update on the XRP price analysis. To start right here, I've showed this a couple times on my channel, but I want to show you where we are right now. If you haven't seen this chart before, make sure you pause the video right here and examine these similarities between this pattern right here and the one we have playing out right now. I think it's fairly obvious, and I tried to label it to make it as clear as possible. So to jump right into this, I want to point out essentially where we are right now in the cycle. I think we've seen some pretty cool developments, and I think it will help give us an idea of what's coming next. So something I noticed today that I thought was pretty interesting was the fact that back here we essentially created this arc right here, popped up into the middle of this accumulation region, almost went to the top of the trend line, dropped back down to the accumulation region before we finished our grind up to the breakout. If we look over here, we can see that same exact pattern taking place. I'll zoom in to make it a little more clear. We have our original arc, we have our pop up into the middle of the accumulation region, we almost popped up at the top of the trend line, but then we dropped back down back to the accumulation region that I've highlighted right here on this bar. I'll show this again and really show you side by side so it's easier to see. We have our arc right here, we fall into the middle of the accumulation region, we pop back up almost to the top of the triangle, we don't reach there, we fall back down, back to this accumulation region, and then we grind to the top. Right here we have our arc right here, it's a tighter arc, but then we pop into the middle of the accumulation region, almost come to the top of the triangle before we fall back down to the accumulation region. If this pattern was to continue to follow the last one, as close as it has been, I expect it to slowly grind to the top before a massive breakout to the upside. Guys, I think these patterns have been extremely similar thus far, and I think it's important to pay attention to them because so far the similarities are undeniable. I'm expecting a breakout to the upside because of the fundamentals we covered earlier in this video. There's really no way about it that XRP should be way past its all-time highs like many other cryptos in the ecosystem. I think XRP has a lot of catching up to do, and I think it's going to start the second it breaks out of this triangle. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and for now, Mikkel out.